Russian invasion, our liberators coming to free us from the shackles of the Justin Trudeau regime, okay? So let's hop into this, talking about the Russian invasion and the cybersecurity attacks that will be coming up here. But anyways, our main story about the Russian invasion. Canada's Digital Cybersecurity Agency is warning the country's critical infrastructure providers to be increasingly weary of attacks from Russia-backed hackers as tensions between the two countries increase over the threat of war in Ukraine. Experts say those attacks could come in a range of forms, from a, quote, widespread ransomware attack, burp check, to a single carefully focused attempt to significantly impact core infrastructure. According to David Mason, director of enterprise security at cyber AI defense company Darktrace, by the way, just the fact that Canada, the US, and the UK put out the warnings speaks to the direness of the Russian threat. It says here, quote, the depth of the information provided by the US and the urgency used underlines the seriousness of this situation. These government bulletins do not come without sufficient research and justification, he said in an email. While we can speculate what exactly drove this alert, the more important message is that the entire world should be watching the heightened tension surrounding Russia's intentions towards Ukraine. Wednesday, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said that Russia is looking for, quote, excuses to invade its neighbor to the west, as Canada debates whether it sends weapons and training resources to Ukraine. That means Russian leader Vladimir Putin is watching Canada's moves closely, likely painting an even bigger target on this country's back when it comes to Russian-sponsored cyber threats. This raises the possibility that if Canada were to go to war with Russia, Russian-backed cyber attackers could seek to cause massive damage and possibly casualties through cyber attacks on Canadian infrastructure. Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly says Canada will join allies in imposing severe sanctions on Russian officials if the country takes further military action to compromise Ukrainian sovereignty. Russia has positioned about 100,000 troops along Ukraine's borders, along with tanks and other heavy artillery, stoking fears across Europe of an invasion. Russia has denied it intends to do that. You know, it's just out of Civ. It's just out of Civ 5, Civ 6. It's literally right out of the Civilization 6 playbook, okay? You have the warmongering country, which is usually the user player. You know, that's how I play. And, you know, you're amassing your army on the border of your neighbor. And all the other countries start to go like, huh, you have troops along the border. You have troops along the border. And then, you know, you have to click that prompt. Oh, don't worry, we're just passing through. And then the next turn, you fucking launch nukes, and it's a full-on invasion, and then you take over the country in like 5 turns. That's what it's going to be like. Vladimir Putin be like, don't worry, my troops are just passing through the area. Vladimir Putin be like, don't you worry, my troops are just passing through, by the way. On Wednesday, U.S. President Joe Biden said that he expects Russian President Vladimir Putin to invade Ukraine, but that he will pay a dear price for that. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is looking at a range of options that will be based on the information Mélanie Joly is gathering this week. Former Ukraine ambassador to Canada, Andrei Shevchenko, said Canada should boost its supplies of military equipment and weapons in the region immediately. Let's go, dude. Let's go. I am so excited. Russian cyber attackers. What's this one sentence in here? I read this sentence. I'm like, dude, let's go. Here it is. It's so good. Like, it's so good. This raises the possibility that if Canada were to go to war with Russia, Russian-backed cyber attackers could seek to cause massive damage and possibly casualties through cyber attacks on Canadian infrastructure. You know, hey, I don't want to see casualties. I disavow the casualty part, okay? But yes, Russia, cyber attack us, influence our elections. Vladimir Putin, back Maxime Bernier, and we can have a Putin-Bernier alliance, okay? Invade Canada and install Maxime Bernier king. Make him king of Russia-backed Canada, okay? It's so awesome. I want to see the cyber attacks. I want to see it all. And the craziest thing about it is Russia, they have 100,000 troops on the Ukrainian border. That's a fraction of their military. That's literally like double all of Canada's military personnel. We have like 60,000 people in the Canadian Armed Forces. We have like 60,000. And they have 100K, and that's all that's been reported, by the way, simply on the Ukrainian border. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited for this, okay? Shut down the power grid. Let's go. Do you think that NORAD's gonna stop Russia? Do you think that NORAD's gonna stop Russia? I think that we should go and shut down NORAD. We should go pull the plug on NORAD so Russia can just go through the Arctic and come liberate us. Right now, we have this globalist regime that is oppressing the real Canadian people. And hey, Vladimir Putin, we need you to liberate us. You need to come liberate us, okay? After you blitzkrieg Ukraine, make your focus on Canada. Very easy country to take. I guarantee that our population will just simply take it, and you'll be welcomed with open arms by real nationalists. You know, I'm an ultra-nationalist. I am a ultra-mega nationalist. So I'll fit right in with all the Russian troops that come over here. I can't wait. And it's fantastic. If this actually goes down, not only will we have something cool for once that happens, but for two, this draws the battle lines between nationalists and globalists. Russia is going to be backed by China and Iran, right? And all the cool countries. And Ukraine is going to be backed by all the gay global homo countries. Perfect. It draws the battle lines, right? And that's exactly ultimately what we need right now. We need to draw the battle lines. People need to understand that this is an us versus them war. People need to understand that, no, we're not going to unify at this point. There's no unification of our populations at this point, right? This war is us versus them. And them isn't defined by borders necessarily. Them is defined by those that agree with or that are complicit in or that were brainwashed by globalism, that were brainwashed by George Soros and, you know, the ADL and the Rockefellers and Justin Trudeau and all these other neocons and neoliberals and communists. That's who them is. This won't be a war about borders, okay? This is a nationalist versus globalist battle. And I think that'd be pretty cool. I think it'd be pretty cool, okay? Now, I'm not saying that, I want to see any death or anything. Obviously, don't want to see anybody get killed. Disavow violence, all that stuff. From a news perspective, from, just being a fan of politics and history, yeah, this would be awesome. It'd be cool. And this is one of the opportunities that I talk about on the show. I kind of touched on this earlier on our afternoon stream, but politics is about opportunities, right? And sometimes, when people get blackpilled, I tell them this. It's like, yeah, I understand. I understand how people can get blackpilled. C-36 is coming in, and the vax tax and mandatory vaccines. And Justin Trudeau is like basically coming to kill us at this point. And they're going to take your kids and throw them into some like re-education camp, except it's not like a cool one. It's not a cool re-education camp. It's a gay re-education camp where they like MK Ultra 5-year-olds. I get it. It's blackpilling, right? However, the white pill here is that, yeah, this is an opportunity, right? And this is something that you couldn't have foreseen couple months ago. Yeah, there were some rumblings about Russia going to invade Ukraine. There were some rumblings about this happening. But it wasn't this intense. The tensions weren't as high. And even if, hey, I don't want to see war. All this is a big joke, okay? It's a big joke. I'm being ironic. But even if it doesn't happen, this still helps us bring up these talking points, right? It still helps us draw these conclusions that we need to show people. You can't just tell people about globalism versus nationalism. You have to show them. And what's a better way to show them than the might of a nationalistic nation like Russia, okay? What a better way to show people why nationalism is the best and why nationalism must defeat globalism than by putting both up head to head. What a better opportunity. I don't think that there's a better opportunity right there. In the short term, of course, Trump winning in 24 and, America Firsters winning heavily in 22 this year are both major opportunities as well, but this is nonetheless a big opportunity, right? Whether there's a war or not. Like I said, I was being ironic. I hope that there's not a war. Yada, 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 all that stuff. Would be very cool, though. Would be very cool to see the massive cyber attacks and to see what was our Canadian company that's like freaking out about it, Dark Force, whatever it is. Yeah, that would be cool to see all of our, Canadian intelligence agencies get BTFO'd by Russia. Okay? It'd be awesome. And like I said, we're right there. People think that Russia is super far away because when you look at, one of those normal flat maps, Russia is like on the other side of the map. Russia's very close to us. It's not like Russia's that far away. It's on the other side of the Arctic, right? It's very close. Just saying. Some cool things to think about, okay? Now, on a more serious note, should we be going to the Ukraine? Should we be sending Canadian troops? Should we even have Canadian troops over there right now, which we do, by the way? No, the answer is no. We should have no troops that are involved in the Ukrainian-Russian war. They should all be back home in Canada, getting prepared to join the Russians. Getting prepared to join the Russian forces? Kidding. They should be all back from Ukraine. We should not be sending weapons over to Ukraine to help them fight against Russia. Quite honestly, the Justin Trudeau regime deserves it. The Justin Trudeau regime deserves to get annihilated by Russian cyber attacks if they're sending weapons over to their enemies. Absolutely. Totally agree with Russia's standpoint there. It's quite simple. If Canada doesn't get involved, then Russia doesn't end up touching Canada. But if Canada starts to fuck with Russia and starts to meddle in something that they shouldn't be meddling in, kind of like some certain other people, and what they do on a very consistent basis, then, well, you get what you fucking deserve, okay? And I don't care about what happens to Justin Trudeau. I don't care what happens to CSIS or, the paused military or any of these politicians that are making these decisions. I care what is best for the movement, okay? That's what I care about. That's what I care about. That's what I care about. Our military is literally crumbling. Russia has like twice the amount of troops on the Ukrainian border than we do in our whole military. And we're poking the bear, sending weapons over to Ukraine. We have some stupid bitch, our foreign affairs minister, sending threats to Russia. I hope that Melanie Jolie, gets a very stern letter from Vladimir Putin. That's what I hope. I hope that she gets a very stern letter from Putin.